Hello, everyone. How is everyone's Monday doing? Hi, Candy and Karen and Sandy. You guys are so sweet. You're like jumping right in there. Okay, so I'm going to kind of just jump right in here because our project for tonight might actually take us an hour. In fact, it might take us more than an hour. So this has a couple more steps than the usual. So our bundle tonight, it just has 3 new items in it. We have the Paths Reversed chipboard. We're going to use, from this chipboard piece, we're going to use the mirror, the bubbles, and the tiara that's up here. The brand new embossing powder called Popular. We're going to use that tonight. And we're going to use the paper pad of the month, which is a Poppy Garden. I have a subscription to this paper pad, the paper pad of the month, and it is always just perfect. I've never gotten one yet I don't like. So, and it is $10.60 if you're in domestic. So it's really affordable. Extras for tonight. We have lots of extras tonight. So we're going to use some embossing powder. We're going to use some white gesso. We're going to use some of this gorgeous glitter stock. We're going to use ballerina cardstock. We're going to use, I think this is extra sentimental. Yes, the extra sentimental stamp set, swatch dots, and magical shattered glass deco foil. So we have lots of products and techniques and all kinds of stuff today. We're going to start with the chipboard. If you're interested in tonight's bundle, there is a link in the description box below to the bundle. There is also a link right to the store. So if you just want to grab some extras, you can do that too. So we want our tiara, and these are very delicate chipboard pieces. So if you're working with them, just be very, very careful. They will pop out pretty easy, but they are very thin. So just be very careful. There's our mirror. And then we want all of the bubbles. And then you still have quite a bit of the chipboard that you can play with for other projects. Amanda says she loves it. Me too. Okay, so this glitter stock, this pink color, the cream, I can't remember their actual names because I don't have full packages. I have like an assortment pack. But the pink and the cream colored and the silver, I've been loving those. And the one that's like spiced, that one's fabulous for fall too. Okay, so we have each of our pieces of our chipboard. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paint each of these pieces with gesso. Then I'm going to place them right on this little tray that slides into my glassboard mat. And I'm just going to let them there to dry. So let me grab a paintbrush. And this doesn't have to be any kind of special paintbrush, just a regular paintbrush. Thank you. Candy's here tonight. She can help me with the names of the glitter stocks because I don't know. I think the white one is just called Cream. I know the coppery brown one that I adore is called Spiced. but I didn't know what the pink was called. So candy, pink is dollhouse or bubblegum. Okay. So this is the lighter pink, and I don't remember which one it is, because there's another pink that's a little more fuchsia colored. This is the lighter of the two. And then there's this really light yellow color that I also absolutely love. As soon as I get like the big packs, so I got like an assortment pack so that I could see which ones are the colors I kept reaching for and reaching for. And I've started to fill my cart up. I have to hit buy now. I have to hit the buy button pretty soon here. Once I get those bigger um, collections, like the whole big packs, then it'll say on the front what color it is, and I won't be confused. This pink color is in the Bubbles and Broomsticks assorted pack, though. So if you get that assorted pack, it'll be in there. It's also in the other assorted pack. So I'm just giving all of these pieces a coat of white gesso, setting them into this little tray, and then I will clean off my mat, and we will go ahead and cut down all of our paper. And the gesso on the chipboard, it dries super quick. So this isn't going to be a messy card project with lots of techniques, but the gesso will dry quickly. Oh, Candy, I love you. This is why we have Candy. She's a cheat sheet. She's like, I'll help you with all those colors. Thanks. Oh, this little bubble. Let's get it coated. The tiny bubbles were the hardest to paint. They're the hardest later on when we make them. When we coat them with the embossing powder, they're hard to coat with the embossing powder too. So you could, if you wanted to, you could skip those tiny ones. I'm not skipping them because I don't mind the fact that I'm going to be completely coated in gesso here, but if you do. Okay. So there's our little chipboard pieces. They are coated with gesso, and we can kind of let them sit off to the side, and they can do all that fun drying things. And then I use the Squeaky Clean Matte Mist on my Glassboard Studio mat. Works great. Works fabulous. Perfect. It's like my own little hack. It takes up all of the schmutz. And then we can go ahead and grab my trimmer. I see how you are. I see how you are, Candy. I see. That's okay. I appreciate the help more than you know. I always love it when I have a little person, when I have someone smarter than me here that can help me. Because things like names, where my scissors walked off to, that's a lot. Okay, so put the matte mist back. That's a great idea. Sandy says she's been known to use the alabaster pigment ink with a pouncer to make white, but it takes several layers. Yeah, I imagine that it would. I feel like the gesso is just, I mean, it's a little messier, but you just kind of, it goes. Okay, let's start cutting down our paper. It wipes right up, except on my hands. Look at that. That is the sign of a good creative session right there. Okay, so our glitter paper, we're going to cut it to 4 by 5 1/4. Then our pink ballerina cardstock, we're going to cut that to 3 3/4 by 5. And then we're going to get our pattern paper. Do you see all the different patterns that are in the Poppy Garden paper pad? Or do you just want to see the one I'm going to use? So this is the one I'm going to use. I chose this pattern paper specifically because it has this open area right here that we are going to use. So I want to make sure when I trim my paper that I keep this open area open so I can stamp on it. But I can show you the rest of what's in the patterns if you'd like. So this is the Poppy Garden paper pad. This is the paper pad of the month for this month. And I will flip through the patterns pretty quickly. It's beautiful. It has this like filigree kind of vintage look to it with the pinks and the creams and the peachy colors and some of the bright pinks. The other thing I really love is that it really matches like the mixed media colors for this month. So there's a shimmer splash that's like this color, and then there's a spray, and when the spray dries, it's right like that color. So it's really cool. And I think that's all the patterns. And then this one starts to repeat. Yes. So there's the last pattern. Super pretty. Sandy says that the paper pad is gorgeous and she's using it for card packs for gifts. Oh, that's lovely. That's a great idea. So those are all of the paper pads. And I will always say paper pad of the month, scrapbooker, card maker, whatever kind of paper crafting you enjoy. This is a good deal. Okay. So remember, I want to keep this area open. I don't want to cut into that, but I need my paper to be 3 1/2. By 4 3/4. I'm going to try to get that. I'm using that pink flower almost like a guide to help me so that I get the placement right for the next part. Okay. So then here are our 3 layers. So lots and lots of layers on tonight's card. And again, I said this last week too, if you're using the glitter stock and you want to preserve as much as possible, there's a trick in scrapbooking called gutting a paper. So you could, since we're only using the wee little bit, you could cut another little square out of the center of this and save it for another project. Because you only need a little tiny bit of the glitter paper for it to do its job. Okay. So how's everyone doing this evening? Have you been watching anything good on TV? Did you do anything super fun this weekend? Have you read are you reading? It's nice, and if you're in my part of the world, it's freezing cold outside. So, I've been reading a lot. Mostly because I'm cold and I can't get warm. Okay, so there's the pink. And whenever I'm gluing anything to the glitter stock, the hollow stock, any kind of specialty card stock, I use wet glue so that it stays and does what it's supposed to do. Dropped my, that's just an acrylic block, nothing scary. I'm going to put an acrylic block on top because I really want this to adhere really well. Next step is just 1 second. There we go. Gotta get my mist. Remember that little spot I told you to save? I'm going to stamp my sentiment right on that with Ivy League Stellar ink from Simon Hurley. I got all of the new colors of Simon's Stellar inks because I love a foam pad. So I'm keeping up with each release, so I will have all of them. And this is the Ivy League. Oh, so many. Cool. Hold on. I promise I'll catch up on the comments. Just a second. Sometimes. Oh, Penny's here. Hi, Penny. It's so nice to see you. Sandy and her husband are watching Castle. I've watched Castle. Candy finished her cabinet. She's putting her room together. Oh my goodness, that is so fun. I need to see pictures. She's reading the last book in the Nora Roberts 7-ring trilogy. Oh, no. She's waiting for it to be delivered to her Kindle. It gets released tonight. I'm like that with my favorite author. I always pre-order all of her books, and then I'm like counting down the days. And usually the day she releases the book, I just read. Sandy got a lot of crafting done this weekend. Woohoo! That's awesome. Oh, Penny, you need to do that, definitely. It's time to get back to your craft room. Heather said I'm going to make her buy them. Yes. Oh my goodness. I just love felt pads. So as soon as they were released, I was like, you know what? We're just going to order them so then I don't have to ever worry that I don't have a certain color. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Hey Gorgeous. I'm sorry, there's a little dead quiet air. I had to read all the comments. Shelly says, I love all the papers. Would it be less messy to paint on the gesso before removing it from the chipboard? Oh, I guess if you knew going in that you were going to add embossing powder to all of the chip, then it probably would be a lot less messier. You are probably 100% right. And I would say if you're not sure of what you're going to do with each piece, like if you're not sure if you're going to want to heat emboss some, or if you're going to want to just ink some of it, or maybe you want to paint it a color and then paint over it. Like I don't, but I think that if you know for sure 100% that eventually you're going to want all of that chipboard gessoed, then just gessoing it right there on the piece would be much less messy, definitely. So I'm going to stamp this a whole bunch of times because I want to get this really deep, dark, gorgeous green, and I want it to be really, really well stamped and inked up. And this green this Ivy League green is a perfect color match, like a perfect color match to the green that is in these paper patterns. Well, one of the greens, there's a couple different shades, but this like kind of mid-tone one that's up in here, perfect match. Oh, you guys, look. Ah, I want to keep up with the conversation, but I have to stamp things. This whole conversation on gessoing the chipboard, and I'm missing it. Someone text me cliff notes. Okay. The other thing I'm wondering, Shelly, is oh, yes, what Heather said. That's what I'm wondering. I think that if you gessoed the whole sheet, you'd have a hard time when you tried to pop them out because the gesso would like glue it all together, maybe. I think that would, yeah. I was just about to say it, and then I saw Heather's comment. Someone needs to try it. So you might have to take an X-Acto knife. That's what I'm thinking. Like you would have to flip once it was completely dry. You'd have to flip it over and take an X-Acto knife around the edges. And while that might be less messy, it would be more work. So there's our green. Isn't that beautiful? This is a great stamp set. It's still in stock in the store. It's called Extra Sentimental. And it has all these cute sayings on it. I seriously love you. Hey, gorgeous. Hello, darling. Little one. Happy birthday. Thinking of you. You rock. Hello, beautiful. Another happy birthday. Awesome. Congrats. Thanks. You're my favorite. And then there's, you know how much I adore it when there's little, like, no one does these little confetti stamps better than Brutus Monroe. So we have these little hearts and the little lips and then this awesome little swirly one down here. Gorgeous stamp sets. Okay. And this is dry. And I think our gessoed pieces are dry too. So I can go ahead and get this piece on, and then we can have some fun. More mess. So when I bought my glue press, after everyone here convinced me I needed to buy one, someone commented and said, now you watch, you're going to need a second one because you need one that's the thin and one that's the thick. And I think we're getting to that point. We're getting to the point where I need a second one. One that is the thick, the regular nozzle, and one that's the thin nozzle. Sigh. Okay, so there's our card base. We're just going to we're going to make our little embellishments and add our little embellishments to it. So here's our little embellishments, and they're all dry. Look how fast that was. They're going to come up nice and easy. We are going to do the mirror first. I'll tell you why, because we're going to play with this mirror quite a bit. We're going to do more than just heat emboss it. We're going to start with heat embossing it, but then we're going to do some other fun things with it. So we'll put this over here so we don't get heat on anything we don't want heat on. All right. Where? I'm telling you, I go live and things grow legs and walk away. It's all very annoying to me. You should see me before I go live on a Monday. I sit here and I make all these little piles. Here's tonight's bundle. Here's the extra products I need to use. Here are all of my tools. Because in theory, I'll be able then to just go through. Here's what I need, here's what I need, here's what I need. Does that work? No. But I try. Do try. Okay. So here's our little mirror. We're going to do, this is the scrubby, the mixed media embossing pad. So I have one that is strictly for stamping and one that after a while looks like it's been eaten. And that's the one we use for these types of projects. So here's our little mirror. And we're going to take the popular embossing powder. So there's a couple ways you can do this. You can kind of just dip each of these elements right in here because we're not dealing with anything big. We're coating it with the embossing powder and we're not, none of these elements are big. What's nice about that is it's a little less messy and you get really good coverage. And the reason we wanted to gesso this right away is because these pieces tight is because this popular embossing powder is not opaque. So it's a little translucent. So we needed that white of the gesso underneath. Let me see if I can get this. So you can catch the sparkle. See the sparkle? And then it gives it that enamel-y look. So cool. Okay, so we'll just sit here and do all these embossed pieces, and then we'll come back to our mirror because we're going to have fun with the mirror. So we're going to go ahead and give this a good coating of the embossing ink. And then we can give it a dip. There we go. And I'll show you that one up close. And there's that beautiful sparkle. So pretty. I love it. I love this. I think that this will have lots of uses for coating things. I hope that makes sense. Like if you had something you cut in a colored cardstock and you just want to make it real glittery, this is the embossing powder you want. Okay. So these little bubbles, remember when I said they were hard to gesso? Oh, but wait, we haven't even begun to have fun because these little bubbles are also, you can imagine, fun to heat emboss. Okay. When I do these bubbles, here's a little hint trick. I'm really coating these bubbles with the embossing powder. And I'm using Teflon scissors because my Teflon scissors won't stick to the bubble. So there's a one bubble. Everyone got so quiet because I'm making all this noise, right? One more. One more little bubble. This is the one that gets real messy because it's the tiniest little bubble ever. And then it gets lost in the embossing powder. That's always fun. Okay. And I just hit my camera holder, sorry. Okay. All the embossing is done now. We can put it all away. And then we can play with the foil. I know that's the part you've been looking forward to. You don't know it yet, but that's the part you're looking forward to. Is when I play with the foil. Because that's the best. To wipe up all of the leftover embossing powder. And the best way to do that and catch it all is with a baby wipes. But that's what we're going to do. Okay, for the next part, our mirror. Our mirror needs something, doesn't it? I mean, it should. Don't you think it needs, like, I don't know, a back? So we are going to use swatch dots, white cardstock, and deco foil transfer sheets. This is the Magical Shattered Glass. Yes, you're driving me crazy with the side conversations for sure. Hi, Shalana. No, I'm super, super. Yeah, Sandy, I did get one. I got a glue press and now I need a second one. Ugh. Anyway, back to our projects. I just figure if you're watching this on the replay, this is your sign that you should come live and watch it live because you're missing the conversation. All right. So, Magical Shattered Glass. Couple of things. First of all, if you're dealing with a brand new full sheet, it's going to come out of the package with the correct side up. If you're not dealing with a new full sheet and you're like, I don't know how to tell. If you put the foil over your hand and it gives you a hug, if it wants to hug your hand, that's the correct side up. This is not the correct side up. See how it's not hugging my hand? There's the correct side up. See how it folds down? It's hugging my hand. So this is the right side up. So we're going to lay that carefully over here. That's our right side up. You want it to hug your hand. Okay. We're going to take a swatch dot. We're going to go ahead and put this right on here. Give it just a little push down. Don't like go crazy. You kind of want to, so I don't know if this is what you really want to do. And I don't know if this is really why, but I am telling you that this stuff, if you rub your hand over it a little bit, it kind of just like warms the little adhesive up. And I swear it works better that way. Take your Magical Shattered Glass, go ahead and put it down. Again, sometimes you have to go around it until it releases. Heather taught me that trick. So let's get right around the edges. So it starts to release. There we go. And then we have this lovely swatch dot with the foil. Oh, that would be lovely. Thank you, Candy Kansas. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. You're super, super kind. Thank you very much. Okay. So next, we're going to take our mirror, flip it over. I'm going to put the thinnest little bead of glue right around the edge. Thinnest little bead of glue. Then I'm going to take my mirror with the thinnest little bead of glue. I'm going to put it right over the swatch dot with the Magical Shattered Glass. I'm going to hold it there just a couple minutes, minute or two, just a little bit. I'm going to catch up on my comments. Oh, Miss Shalana is here. Yeah, Sandy, you were the one that told me I was going to need 2, and I did too. Candy says she only used 1 and she doesn't think it matters. Yeah, I'm doing fine with my 1. Messy's probably better. Yep. Okay. Once your glue is adhered well, just slide your scissors right under the edge of that mirror. This does not have to be, this is not a lesson in fussing cutting at all. This is a lesson in, we just want to hide our really edges, the really wonky edges behind the mirror. We don't, just slip your little scissors right underneath. Let me bring this up here so you can watch it. Slide them right underneath. Just go right around the edge. No one's going to see it. No one's going to know that the back of your mirror looks funky. And then check out our mirror. Like, isn't that the funnest thing ever? I really got good at these swatch dots and the foil at Create Your Own Ending in July. And now I keep finding cool things to use it with. Isn't that cool? I love that. That my favorite part of this whole card is that mirror. It is the coolest mirror ever. Oh, that's okay, Carol. Don't worry about it. You're good. Okay. And then that matches and goes with our sentiment, hey, gorgeous. So we have our tiara, we have our mirror, we have our cute little bubbles. So now we can just go ahead and put it all together. So tonight's card is messy. It's fun, full of techniques. And I was not kidding when I posted on Facebook. And I said, this is probably my favorite card. One of my absolute, like, this just might be one of my favorite cards of all time. So we're going to get our back on. If you're interested in grabbing the bundle, there is a link in the description box. That is an affiliate link. It lets everybody know over at British Monroe that I sent you. And there's also a link just to the shop. So if you don't want the bundle, there's a direct link to the bundle, but then there's also just a link to the shop. So if you want to pick up anything else, and that link just to the shop is always in the description box on any of my Make It Monday lives. It's always usable. You are welcome to grab it at any time. And like I said, that just lets Christopher and company over at the store know that you came and bought and that I referred you. Okay. So we can do this however we want. I think I'm going to do this one a little bit different than I did the example one. I always like to give you guys another little idea, right? So we'll do the little tiara up here. We'll do the little mirror, and the mirror is going to like snuggle into that G, and then we'll pop the bubbles around. Yes, Sandy is correct. When you get a glue press, you get two glue tips. One is really thin, one is thicker. I have the thin one in mine because for me, that's getting that thin drop of glue is really important when you're using something that's really delicate. For example, But then I also have this one that I keep right here. And this is just like regular glue. That's the one that I'm like, maybe. But I just put the thin tip in here, which gives me this perfect bead of glue for the thin chipboard. And then we'll go ahead and add our bubbles. Okay. I will say that with the wet glue, I do like want an acrylic block here for just a second, because it's the wet glue. I think that the dampness from the glue kind of gets into the chipboard, and then it wants to like roll up a little bit. So I'm going to put this here for just a minute before I glue down the bubbles. But I can show you this one. So this is the example one. So this is another way, same thing, just the little mirror and the little bubbles and the tiara, just at a different spot. But same sentiment, same elements, just a little bit of a different configuration. So that is another way to use this. And I used all of like the girly princessy pieces, but there's, like a little broomstick and scary hands on that chipboard. You could do whatever you wanted. And there is also the other embossing powder that was released this month. That's like a green, really green. So you could go a completely different direction with that chipboard if you wanted. Okay, those are tonight's cards. Do anyone have any questions? We still early, man. Maybe I would say I talk too much, but that can't be true. And I would say maybe I go too fast, except I went really slow tonight, including like even coming back and getting into the conversations. So we'll just go with it. All right, everyone, that's tonight's project all done. Yep, there were 3 embossing powders this month. So this is the popular one, and then this is the green one. It's called Melting. So I can show you that one because it's right here. And then there's also the one for the month, the embossing powder of the month, which is another green one. This one looks a little darker. This one's called Spellbound. So my green embossing powders are still in the packaging. I haven't used them yet. And then this is the popular one and what it looks like all done. But isn't that mirror so cool? Thank you, Carol. Yes. Melting and Spellbound. Spellbound's a darker green. Melting is the lighter green. So cute. I love this mirror. I think this mirror is just the coolest thing ever with that gorgeous foil. Okay, everyone, have a wonderful evening. If you're interested in any of these products, you can grab a link in the description box below. And I'll see you next Monday with another project. We're going to do another messy project next week, too. We're going to play with the sprays and the splashes and all that stuff. So I'll see you then for that. Bye, everyone.